So I just wanted to create a quick video to talk through the process of how I approach a new drum recording session. So I'm in Pro Tools here, and the first part of my process is that with this particular guy I'm working with, the song that he's composed that I'm going to be playing the drums for, he's provided me with the MIDI file of the entire song. And he's also provided me with a track that has the programmed drum part that he had written to kind of serve as a guide for me as I compose the drum part. And he's also sent me a version of the song without his programmed drum part in that track. So the first thing that I do is I have a template that I've created for the entire album where I already have all of my tracks for my drums all set up, and I'll already have all my EQs, everything in the session is set up, and then I just simply save that as a template, and the name of the template is the name of the album that I'm playing on. So I start off with that template as a new session, and then what I do is I have 2 stereo tracks in the session where I pull in and port the wave file that he's provided that has that pre-programmed drum track that he created. That's there. And then I also have the one without the drums that he sent, which is the song without any drums at all. And I have those both pasted in tandem with each other. And that way, once I've recorded my drum part, I can play it right along with the wave file of the music that he's provided. But I also have the version with his pre-programmed drums, which serves as the guide for me as I'm listening through to kind of stay on track with the general ideas that he provided. And actually, it might sound crazy, but I also record over the pre-programmed drum track part, even though I'm not necessarily playing the exact same thing. I'm interpreting it in my own way. So I have those tracks imported, and this is before I even start learning the song or recording or anything like that. So the next thing I do is I create markers. I listen through to his song with his composed drum part, and as I'm listening through, I'll create markers of kind of like where the drums enter and just label them with kind of obviously basic things like where the chorus of the song is, where the verse is. But I'll also use more specific notes. Like in this case, there's a ballad. It's a ballad, and the kicks come in with a beat, but then the snare starts to enter and stuff like that. So once I've created all those markers, and I should also note the other thing that I do even before the markers is I import the MIDI file. So when I import that MIDI file that he sent of the song, once I do that, it's going to actually ask me if I want to import the tempo map and the key signature and all those things. So once I import that, that's actually going to create all of the time signatures and everything, as well as the tempo. Everything is there so that my click track that I have in the song is going to be in the correct tempo, and it's going to have all of the correct time signature changes and things like that. Like this one starts at 4/4, but later on in the song, there's a bunch of odd time signature changes. So that part is absolutely required. All right, so at this point, I've imported both the song with the drums that he programmed in it, as well as the one without. I've imported all of the correct time signatures through the MIDI file. And then I also have created labels that are markers for me so that I know what I'm doing. And of course, the other reason that I do that is because while I'm recording, I actually have a screen in my drum room, a video screen that mirrors the Pro Tools, so I'm actually seeing all of that in front of me on a large TV while I'm playing and recording and learning and things. So that's the process, and then I go through and I'll listen to the song in its entirety, of course, just so I get the entire kind of feeling of what he's going for. And then I'll start recording my parts. And, you know, the way that I will typically learn the song is I'll absolutely learn it by listening and then playing through one section at a time, just so I could get kind of the movements of the feeling, and the muscle memory, and building all of that up. And then I'll do a bunch of takes of each section until I get something that sounds really good. And I'll try to go as far as I can with each section of the song without having to stop and then, let's say, punch in the next part. But what'll end up happening is I'll piece together all of my recorded parts into a rough track that is what I feel is the right drum part. And that's kind of a rough cut. I'll then send that rough cut to the guy, along with the track that doesn't have the drums in it, obviously, because it's my version. I'll send that over, see if he has any notes or any major changes that he wants, or areas where maybe he wants me to put more fills. And then I'll proceed to go back and re-record and make things really tight. I try not to do any kind of, like, I don't use beat detective or aligning things to the grid. I try to play the part as close to perfect as possible. And then I might do a manual adjustment here or there, but usually it's more a matter of I'll take the best takes within the sections. And then let's say, for example, I have a better verse later in the song. I'll capture that verse and then I'll put it over the first verse if the first one maybe isn't as solid, and I'll do similar things with the chorus. But I don't do that a lot because I do like to get unique feel within each verse and each chorus, maybe slightly different fills and things, obviously. I don't want it to be exactly the same for each verse and each chorus. So the last thing that I do once that's all complete is I'll listen back and then decide, okay, where do I need to add some super flashy fills and things to make things exciting? And then I'll punch those really exciting fills in at the very end of the process, because I tend to find that it's easy to get caught up in the structure of the song and getting everything perfect, playing the parts. But then that kind of last finishing touch that you need is to get like the super exciting, crazy fills, at least, you know, with the type of song that I'm playing here, which is a progressive metal thing. So for example, in this song, the intro has a really intricate, a super intricate kind of pattern. And I was doing it on the snare drum initially, but I decided let's break it out across the toms instead. And so that sounded like this. So yeah, that's pretty much my process. Thanks for checking it out.